Hello, welcome back. Welcome back. Again, it's nice and sunny here today. I'm still in the UK in the southwest. But where are you? What have you been up to this week? Let me know. I want to know. All right, good to see you. Good to see you. This week, if it's all right with you, I would like to discuss some commonly confused words. Because, as you know, this is an advanced podcast for English listeners. So, what better than to talk about English words? Now, today we've got a list of about 15 to 20 unusual words that kind of can be used in two different ways. And then at the end, I've got my a couple of interesting and rare words that are quite well. I like them. They make me smile. Words that I haven't used for a long time and a bit odd. All right, okay. So let's jump into it. Right, like I said, commonly confused words. So one of them, the first one, is accept. All right, I accept your apology, and everybody was going to the dinner, the Christmas dinner, except for me. Accept and accept. So ACCEPT. Accept. I accept the invitation. And everybody's going accept me, which is an EXCEPT. Now, I've got this written down because I'm not that smart. I'm not clever enough to be able to memorize it. And some of these words actually caught me out. I wasn't expecting it, but some of these words I thought, oh, really? I haven't double checked because this is an English book written for teachers. So, yeah, they caught me out and I was a little bit embarrassed. I was. Right, okay, next one. Moving on. Adverse and adverse. She was feeling unwell due to the adverse effects of her medication. All right, the adverse effects, the unexpected effects. All right. He was lazy and averse to playing sports. Well, I'm kind of adverse to working. So adverse in that sense means not very keen on, not happy about doing it. I don't like working. I'm adverse to it. Ugh, work. All right. And adverse side effects. So maybe you were smoking some cigarettes and you had an adverse side effect, made you sick. All right. Adverse and adverse. One is ADVERSE. All right. Adverse side effects. And then adverse to working, not happy about working, not liking the working. Oh, I don't like it. Adverse, AVERSE, averse. Adverse, averse. I get them mixed up. Okay, now this one's unusual. Aisle and aisle. The bride walked down the aisle. I was looking for some tea bags, and I looked down the aisle to see the what do we call that? The signage above each aisle, and this aisle says milk and sugar and bread, and then this aisle says coffee. But I went down that aisle and I couldn't find the tea bags. All right, so down an aisle, kind of like a narrow pathway. And the other one is isle, like the Isle of Man, the Shetland Isles, meaning kind of like an island. All right, I'm in a town now. Well, no, I'm in a small village called Isle of Brewer, and there's Isle of Abbot. So I'm guessing, although we're completely connected, and I'm in the middle of the mainland. It once was surrounded by bogs and rivers and things like that. So it was kind of like an isle, kind of like an island when it was named back in the, 10th century or something. All right. So the next one is allowed. All right. You're allowed to take the old dog for a walk and go see your friends, but you must be back here by 8 o'clock tonight. It's a summer's evening. Let's pretend. All right. Allowed. I could hear my friend whilst I was shopping. They must have been in the other aisle because I could hear him speaking aloud. I was like, oh, I recognise that voice. Allowed. All right? Which is like out loud. So allowed. A-L-L-O-E-D. They were talking aloud, not quietly. Maybe they didn't realize they had their headphones unplugged, so they were singing aloud. All right? Compared to you're allowed to go and do something, which is A-L-O-U-D. Okay. What have we got next? I'm going to skip those two. Bare. All right. I walked around in my bare feet. So bare feet, B-A-R-E, means with no socks on. You know, just your feet as nature intended. Bare feet. All right. But then a big, large brown bear came chasing me. Now that bear is B-E-A-R. B-E-A-R. Bare feet, B-A-R-E. Bear and bear. I find that one okay. I can remember that one. Okay. Break and break. A child ran out in front of me whilst I was driving the car to grab their ball into the main road, and I had to brake really suddenly and hard. All right. So that break is B-R-A-K-E. Break. B-R-A-K-E. Apply the brakes. All right. Now, chocolate break. A coffee break is B-R-E-A-K. B-R-E-A-K. Break for lunch. Break for dinner. Tea break. Or break chocolate in half. Break. B-R-E-A-K. All right then. That's quite easy as well. Now, this one I thought was a little tricky. Broach and broach. He decided to broach the subject for discussion. What was the discussion? We'll never know. Broach the subject. B-R-O-A-C-H. A bit like a cockroach. Broach. B-R-O-C-H. Broach the subject. Now, I've never used that word. I approached the subject. Maybe because my English is terrible. And a brooch, B-R-O-O-C-H, is something you wear. Often ladies wear as a pretty brooch. Maybe flowery. And it's got a pin on it and it goes through your clothes. All right, so a brooch. Goes nice with a lady's jacket. Maybe somebody from royalty might wear a brooch. I don't know. All right, okay. Cereal and cereal. All right, so breakfast cereal is spelled with a C. C-E-R-E-A-L. C-E-R-E-A-L. Cereal. Cornflakes, for example. Cereal. But then a TV series, I was watching a serial. She found, or a serial number. I found the serial number on the back, very small down the bottom. Serial number, S-E-I-R-A-L, serial number, on the back of her phone. Now, this isn't an iPhone, but I was going to say iPhone. Cereal and cereal. Breakfast cereal. Nom, nom, nom. All right. What did you have for breakfast? Did you have your Weetabix? That's an old TV advert, you know. If you had your Weetabix, you're strong and ready to go for the day. All right. I personally prefer oats. Porridge, we call it. Porridge oats. All right, okay, moving on. What have we got? We got compliment and compliment. Now, this confused the heck out of me as well. I was like, what? I thought it was the same word. The colours complement each other. So maybe I've chosen a pink shirt and red trousers, which I do. All right, so they complement each other. He complimented her by telling she was very pretty. He complimented her saying that she had beautiful bone structure and very photogenic in regards that she had no blemishes upon her face. All right. Compliment, compliment. So compliment, C-O-M-P-L-E-A-E-M-E-N-T. Complement. And compliment, C-O-M-P-L-I-M-E-N-T. ment. So you give somebody a comment, a compliment, it's got an I in it. If you give somebody, if something complements, so for example, a biscuit would complement a cup of tea. They go really well together. That's with an E. Compliment, complement. I hope I've confused you there. Because I'm a bit confused. All right, okay. Now, Q and Q. Us British are known for our queuing, and we like to keep everybody in line and queue politely and correctly. So if you're in a line of a queue, then we would say Q-U-E. Q-U-E, U-E. What's got here? Q-U-E, Q-U-E, U-E. Q. Sat for a very long time in the queue, just to get 2 seconds worth of stamps on the paperwork. Formalities. We stood in a queue. Also, the actor waited for his cue, which is kind of like a nod. Okay, go, now. Shh, it's your turn, go. Also, it's not written here, but I know this. Also, it's the way we spell for a snooker cue or a pool cue. All right. I said a joke to somebody the other day that they were talking about watching some snooker on the TV. And this person was quite a few years older than me. And I said, hope you're not watching it in a black and white TV, because if so, the one that's moving the fastest, that's the white ball. Anyway, watching snooker on a black and white TV is a funny old joke. Made me laugh anyway, All right, okay, so what have we got? Desert and dessert. Now, as a child, I struggled with this for the longest time. Desert and desert. All right, so the desert is hot and dangerous with snakes and bandits, bandidos. The desert. All right, now a dessert. I worked at a factory called Devon Desserts back in the day. All right, so that's D-E-S-E-R-T. All right, so there's double S in dessert. Yum, yum, yum. All right. Oh, I just remembered. I didn't tell you about the queue, did I? Sorry. Let's jump back one. Queue, waiting for people. Q-U-E-U-E. Right, we did that bit. But the small queue, as in a pool queue, or the actor's queue, go. C-U-E. Now, why it's a C-U-E, I really don't know. Q and Q. Don't even get me started on Kew Gardens, because that's a whole nother spelling altogether. But anyway. Ugh. Desert. Dessert. Yum, yum, yum. Desert, dessert. All right. Draft and draft. They definitely sound the same. There was a draft coming in from behind the door. Now, in the UK, it's pretty cold, especially in the winter. And often you would see, especially in older houses, somebody would make like a pretend snake. It would be like a long thing, probably about like 3 foot long. And there's, I don't know why they made a snake, just because it's long and thin. And it would be filled up with old rags or something like that. And obviously it would be sewn up and maybe some eyes put on it to make it interesting. And it would go by the door. You know, like the back door or the front door, to stop the draft coming in underneath. So that was a draft excluder, we used to call it, and is often in the shape of a snake. And we put it to stop the draft coming in, which means cold air. Cold air. All right, draft. D-R-A-U-G-H-T. Draft. All right. And then when you write an email and you need some more details, you can't finish it. It's saved as a draft document. D-R-A-F-T. Draft document. And draft coming in under the door. That was my impression of being cold. There you go. That's some onomatopoeia for you. We'll get onto that another day. Onomatopoeia. When words sound like they're supposed to. Like they are. For example, bark or meow. You get the picture. All right, you guys are very intelligent. You don't need me to go over this. Okay, pour and pour. P-O-R-E. I got a spot on my nose. It's like a pore. Your skin, as you know, is porous. Lots and lots of little holes, so it absorbs. If you sat in a bath full of alcohol, you could actually absorb the alcohol into your body and eventually into your bloodstream because you have lots and lots of pores. Like squeezing your spots. It's kind of a pore. All right, so that's P-O-R-E. Dirty pores. Ugh. And the other kind of pour is we pour out some liquid. I'm going to pour out the milk into making the cup of tea. All right, so pour and pour. What else we got? Principle and principle. Now, I scratched my head and thought, what? They look almost the same. Principle and principle. The man believed in strong principles. Yes, so do I. Strong principles. Oh, yes. Makes a good strong man. Rrr. Okay. P-R-I-N-C-I-P-L. Principle. The principle of the story, or the reason of the story, or the principle. And then we've got principal. P-R-I-N-C-I-P-A-L. Principal. The head of a school would be the principal. Or the head of a... Not so much in universities or colleges, but normally a school, like a primary school or a secondary school. Because that's how we roll here in the UK. Right? We have nursery or playgroup. Nursery is normally private and expensive and more focused on learning. And then playgroup is more just play with a little bit of structure involved. But it's basically just about observation to ensure that each child is developing as they should. All right, so nursery and what do I call it? Nursery and playgroup. All right, so that's where children go really. Nursery is normally from 0 if you're a busy mum, from 0 until about 4 and a half, 5. And playgroup is normally sort of like 3, 4, 5. You know, when they can get up and move around and do stuff themselves. So that's playgroup. And often the UK will give vouchers for all parents to have, I think it's something like 15 hours for free of either nursery or playgroup. So that's up until like 4 and a half, 5 years old. Then after that, they go to primary school. So from 4 or 5 years old, depending on how old they are in the intake, the time of the intake. I don't know if it's September. So they'll go in there from 4 or 5 up until the ages of 11. All right, so 5 to 11. That's called primary school in the UK. Primary school. They've now changed the numbers. When I was younger, it was like different numbers. So up till, I think that's year 11. And then they go to secondary school, which is the big school. There's normally lots and lots of little primary schools dotted in every village has the primary schools. But the town with the bigger population tends to have the secondary schools, you know, and there'll be a lot more pupils. It's kind of like the size of 10 primary schools all stacked into one. And there's a lot more resources in a secondary school. So, for example, you'd have a great big playing field, whereas primary schools tend to be very small. Okay, so you're in this secondary school from the ages of 11 up until the ages of 16. And now, not when I was a young man, but now the law is that you have to stay in education until you're 18, at least 18, full-time education, or an apprenticeship. So you could go and be a tradesperson or something like that from the ages of 16 to 18. All right. So then after secondary school, you go to a college and you'd get your A-levels. In the secondary school, you get your GCSEs. I can't remember what that stands for. GCSEs in the secondary school. And then you go to college and get your A-levels, which would then, you could then go on to university if you have enough qualifications. If your A-levels are good enough, you can get into university. Well, apply for university at least. So that's the college. And then you can go on to university from sort of 18 and a half, 19, up until whenever you finish, if you go on to do a master's or a PhD. So yeah, that's kind of like the 3 tiers. The little babies and toddlers, then primary school, small children, then secondary school, big children, and then college, and then university. So that's how it goes. And in the UK, you used to be able to smoke at 16, but now you can't. Now they're moving up to 18. And also you can get drunk and drink lots of alcohol at 18 years old as well, which is very different to the US. All right. So yeah, that's how our school system works. We went off on a tangent. Now let's go back. Principles. We started with schools, didn't we? Principle and principles. I have strong principles. He is a good, strong principal of the school. All right, okay. Then the last one, stationary and stationary. So stationary is when an object is stationary. The train come into the station and stopped. It was stationary. Had his handbrake on. Handbrake's on. Now, if you go into the stationery cupboard, I have a pen over here full of pens and pencils. That is stationery. All right, lots of things that can be used for writing and the paraphernalia and ancillaries and peripherals of writing and drawing. So pens, paper, paper is stationery. We have a shop called W.H. Smith's that sell all stationery. So they sell books, rubbers, pencils, Tipp-Ex, all sorts of stuff. Oh, this is Tipp-Ex. It's whitener, for going over your page. Tipp-Ex, labels, highlighters, markers, Sharpie, all sorts of things like that is classed as stationery. And that's stationery. So why there's an ERY in it instead of a ONARY? It beseeches me. I'm beseeched. I don't know. I really don't know. All right, so that's the list of the most common confused words. If you have any other common words that you get mixed up, let me know in the comments and we'll have a discussion. One of my favourites, and this is because I'm in the countryside, is hare. We have an animal here that's like a rabbit, but bigger and longer ears. So imagine a rabbit with long ears. All right, it's called a hare. Hare. Mad as a March hare. That's an interesting. What was that? Is that a phrase? Oh, it's an old phrase. Mad as a March hare. A hare, like the rabbit, being out in March. Anyway, so hare, Hare, hair on your head, Hair, hair and hair. That's one of my favourites. Right, so that's all the list. As I promised, a couple of my favourite words. I've got a book of my favourite words. Now this one I really like. I might spell it wrong, all right? GOBBLEDYGOOK. Gobbledygook. He's talking gobbledygook. He's talking double Dutch. He's talking rubbish. All right? Gobbledygook. 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 All right. What else? One more. Let's do one more then. All right, we'll do two more. Two more. This is a new one to me. Jettisoned. Jettisoned. Throw or drop from a ship or aircraft. So, for example, a lifeboat would be jettisoned off of a cruise liner, for example. Jettisoned. Interesting. All right. Emphatically. 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 That's when you know something to be really true. And he emphatically insists, strongly, agrees or says this is right. I emphatically say this is perfectly correct. Some of these are a little bit... Now, I like this one. Plethora. You got to stick your tongue out to say it. Plethora. Meaning there's a whole load of options. The waiter brought out the cheese board, and there was a plethora of cheeses to choose from. Lots and lots of cheeses. Plethora. I'll tell you what, if I read out some of these words, you let me know if you've heard of some of these, because they're quite interesting. I think they're interesting. But let me know if you know some of these, all right? Prolific, proclivity, propensity, predicated, proponent, plutocracy. So those are all just letters with P, beginning with P. I got loads of them here. I won't bore you with all of them. All right, last one. Bode well. That doesn't bode well with me. That doesn't sit well with me. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. It doesn't bode well with me. Bodwell. Well, that's the writing I've got for it, the spelling I've got. Yeah, there's lots. I mean, some of them I struggle to remember and use. Like this, like transmogrify. Transform in a surprisingly or magical way. Transmogrify. When are you ever going to use that word? Oh, yeah, he went down there and transmogrified into something different. This one I like. Trite. That person is trite. Trite. Boring. Or the opposite is, well, maybe the opposite. And then evangelical. Like, hallelujah, praise the Lord. Buy this Bible, buy this book, buy it now. Somebody that is religiously excited. We'll leave it at that. But yeah, I got loads more words. If you want to know some more words, or you want a video on some more words, then let me know in the comments, and I'll be happy to go through a whole load more. But I really enjoy some of these old words that have been forgotten. English words have been forgotten. I find them interesting, and especially if you can bring it into a conversation with an older person, and they'll say, "Oh, I haven't heard that for years," and they give you a smile, and But then maybe I'm just being a little bit showy-offy, because I like words. There we go. Let me know in the comments if you know all those words, and let me know if there's some interesting and exciting words that you've learnt yourself. All right, that's it for today. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now. Bye-bye.